Lateshia definitely contacted me to come on the show to talk about Latrice.
Just gonna be real. I don't think Letitia called. You and Latrice falling out originally and you getting fired. I was told
Mhm.
that it was because you were stealing from her. Is that true?
It's not true at all. When she fired me, it was about some hair was being missing. What happened with Ada, now it's happening with me.
Because you said that you and Latrice are really close. Do you reach out to bloggers and send them things?
As far as what,
Would you like me to show you?
Show you.
About Latrice. Hold on. You and Ada were in cahoots at one point. This girl sued Latrice for $150,000 and won. Everything I was told, Josh, was the complete opposite of what you're saying.
Hey everyone, it's your bro, Mitch Kimbro, and I'm here with the bros of Bro Chat.
what's
Now, Eric is not with us because he's celebrating his birthday. He's going to be back with us in the next few weeks. You're going to see
Yeah.
Eric back on Bro Chat, but joining us to guest co-hosts and hang out with the bros is Joshy from Belle Collective. Hey Joshy.
hello? Hey everybody.
So, all right, bros. So first, I want to talk directly to Joshy because we have to clear some things up that are happening on the current season of Bell Collective. So Latrice claims that Lateshia went below the belt by contacting her former employees to dig up dirt on her.
I do feel like there's some bull and everything you're saying is bull. Because I know personally, and I know this for a fact, that you're contacting my ex-employees behind my
Who
back.
are your ex? Latrice, why would I cut? I don't even know your ex-employees.
Tisha, I know this for a fact.
Girl, Latrice, who are your
I know, for
ex-employees?
one, you contact Josh. That was the first one that you contacted.
Latrice, I have never called Josh.
Now, Joshy, that former employee is you. Did Letitia contact you?
Lateshia definitely contacted me to come on the show to talk shit about Latrice. So that was definitely a thing. Yeah.
What was actually
Okay.
said on the call?
This happened literally like 2 years ago.
Mm.
And Letitia called me out of the blue. I pick up the phone and she asked me, she was like, "Hey Josh." I was like, "Hey." And she instantly asked me, she was like, "Do you guys have some blonde hair?" She asked me about some hair, as if I still worked at Goddess Lens. And so in my head, I'm like, "Girl, now you know I do not work at Goddess Lens anymore." Like she was like, "Really, Josh? Oh my gosh, I did not know that. I did not know that you did not work at Goddess Lens anymore."
Okay.
You were still working that last season around the time of the reunion. You were still working. At what point do you no longer work at Goddess Lens?
Literally, she fired me. I'm just gonna be honest. She fired me at the beginning of January, and that was probably around the time that the new location was supposed to be opening up.
So she
D-
fired you like months after the reunion tapes?
Yes, yes,
Months
mm.
after. Okay, months after the
yes,
reunion.
yeah. So I
Okay.
wasn't. Yeah, I was not fired and still filming. Yeah, yeah.
Can you get into why you were
Joshy.
fired?
I know Latrice, and I know it was her husband. I asked her several times. Even before during filming, I was just like, I just feel like my job is like, at stake. I was like, can you let me know? Like, if you're gonna let me go now. Like, give me a
Mhm.
heads up or whatever. Like, don't leave me out here looking crazy. She promised me several times over and over and over and over again that, I would never do that to you. This would never be a thing. This is my business. My husband has no control over what I have going on business wise. And all of that kind of changed during closer when things started to air, when the show started to air.
Do you think, Joshy, because you did live with Latrice at one point, and I could tell that you and Cliff didn't get along, and you're also saying that, you know, you think that the husband was involved with the firing. But overall, do you think it's because you lived with one Latrice at one point, and that's the reason you got fired?
It was definitely her husband. I will just say that. Let him tell it. It was because I disrespected him in his house. Um, I was standing 10 toes down beside this. I don't feel like I disrespected him in his house. You know, people
Hmm.
look at it different ways. I know how um editing works. I know how everything works. Me and Latrice had a private conversation in a room that she was sleeping in outside of her husband. And she shared things with me, and I just was kind of piggybacking off of her.
Hmm.
And it spent around as if I was the one who was talking crap about him in his house. And I'm like,
Like you were sparking the fireworks.
exactly.
Okay.
But um if I'm gonna just expose a little more, it was just more of that was what was brought to me. It
By
was
Latrice.
in so many words, yes.
Mm.
So it was more based off of I don't want to start the conversation. I'd rather you start the conversation, Josh. And
Oh,
that was the thing to kind of like open up to, I guess, more of their storyline to kind of like let people more in onto into what they got going on into their what their marriage is about, because it's just like we see what's going on, but it's just like you guys keep trying to ignore like the real issues you guys have going on in your marriage. So
Mm.
instead of me saying it and have a problem with my husband, I'll let Josh do it.
Hmm.
And it kind of went to where she took the other route and was just like more defending him and just saying that I'm overstepping my boundaries or I'm invading into what they have going on.
Did you have a contract while you were filming?
A contract with filming with the
Like
with
Oh,
getting
in the production
paid to
company.
film and stuff?
oh yes.
Okay.
yeah. Well, bros, let's unpack this. Let's unpack this. I want to hear from Izzy first, but this is something that's really interesting to me because we have Lateshia saying one thing, then we have Joshy saying something completely different. I want to know, Izzy, do you believe Lateshia actually made those calls to sabotage Latrice?
I do. I do believe she made those calls. And I'm not saying that because Joshy's, here. But um I've said it before, as someone who hires and fires people, I just think, what she did was she did go below the belt. She shouldn't have done that. That group is a group of ladies. They're a group of friends. They should just stay friends. If you're going to, and I would hate it if you guys did this to me, any of my former employees, not that you know them, but if you guys reached out to any people that I knew that I'm close to when we're supposed to be a group of friends, I'd be upset.
And I will say this: the only reason why I even told Latrice that, because me and Latrice, we didn't talk for almost a year. So when Letitia reached out to me, and this is how truthful it is, when Letitia reached out to me, I told her, I said, "Girl, I got a lot going on here in Nashville." I said, I moved to Nashville because my sister got diagnosed with cancer. So I
Mm, so
instantly had to
sorry.
jump. Thank you. I instantly had to jump into that role as far as, being here with my family and helping take care of my nephews. So filming was not even I didn't
An
even filming
option.
it wasn't even an option for me at that time.
Hmm.
And I'm 6 hours away. I'm not finna travel down. And I told her, I said, girl, I'm not trying to be a part of nobody else's narrative. I said, I
Hmm.
don't want to be part of nobody else's storyline. If they want to bring me on the show and give me my own spotlight and have my own story going on, then we can have something to talk about. I said, but I no longer want to be a part of Latrice and Cliff's story. And she kept telling me, you got to come on. You can't let Treese get by with the stuff that she does, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, girl, I just don't see me doing it.
Was
And
she
she
gonna
said,
pay for your flight?
let me tell you. So then she said, well, she said, she said, I think it's something that can be done. Let me call production because Josh, we start filming next month. And
Oh,
I was like, okay. She was like, let me call production and let me see if we can bring you on, how we can bring you on. And I told her, I said, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not doing it. I said, if you guys aren't cutting me a check, I'm not coming down to film that show for that bull crap.
where the
And
money
so
at?
So she literally called me. She called me maybe like it didn't even take long, probably like 10 minutes later. And when she was like, I'm sorry, Josh, but they say it's not in the budget. They can't do it. And I was like, oh, perfectly fine. I said, I told you I already got a lot of shit going on right now, anyways. I said, so hey, have at it. I said, but I don't mind coming down for a weekend. If you guys you have an event, I don't mind popping up or whatever. I said, but as far as like coming on there trying to like air things out with me and trees, I don't see that for me.
Hey, Josh, when did
And
that come into play? Her bringing up that she wanted you to talk, and correct me if I'm wrong. What was said? Like, hey, that we want you to come on the show and bring this up. Like, how did that go?
yeah, she wanted me to, when I told her that I no longer work there, and I told her what happened as far as like, I didn't like how production flipped everything that was going on. I don't like how Treese didn't have my back. I told her stuff like that. And she was like, "You got to come on and you got to talk to them about. You got to expose Treese for who she is. Like you can't let her get by with that. Like she fired you for no reason and stuff
Mhm.
like that." And so I was just like, it really wasn't in me to do it because again, I still hold a special place in Treese in my heart at that time to where it was just like I really didn't want to do that. I don't want to battle with people that I actually genuinely care about. I felt like we had a really, really good friendship when we were friends at that time, which we are good now too. Okay.
But you say you have a special place in your heart for Latrice,
hmm
but when it was brought to you to come on to the show to, take Lateshia up on her offer, you said that you were willing to do it if you would have been paid to do it. Doesn't
So,
that kind
so
of speak to the loyalty of Latrice, that you don't have that loyalty for Latrice?
okay. So when to come on the show was not for me to come and bash her. If I was to come on the show, it was more for me to kind of like express myself on how I really felt about the situation that happened. I never got a time. I feel like I never had a space where I could come on and just really say what happened on my end or voice my piece or like how I felt about the whole situation, how it went down. It never happened that way for me.
Yeah.
So that would be for me to come back on. That was more of my reason. It was never because even she even also said that it was like she wanted me to come on and be friends with her. Oh crap. And team up with her and Marie. She brought up Marie's name because she
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, Marie would love you, Josh. Like Marie would love you. Would love Marie." It's like she wanted me to come on and be friends with them because of their, you know,
Have a click
th-
going on.
yeah, because they don't care for Latrice.
Patrice,
But it puts a question mark on your loyalty to Latrice when Letitia is bringing this to you and you're considering it. If you're paid to do it, like you'd be paid to come on, you would do it if you were paid. Like that's the question mark that I have on the loyalty for Latrice.
And I'm
I get what you're saying, but I think you're not listening to what I'm saying as far as coming back on to not bash Latrice. It's more of to kind of tell my side of the story because again, nobody heard me out on what happened at all. Like even times where when we were filming, it was times where I went to production and I went to Trees and I was like, we got to make this right. I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight with you on camera. And like I said, because it's making me look a certain type of way. I said, you know, that's not how I am. You know, I'm not that type of friend. I said, it's making me look like I'm the messy gay. I said, and I don't like that at all. I said, you know, that's not how I roll. And she was like, it's gonna be good, yada yada yada. And then when everything aired, and then all these people are, these bloggers, everybody in the comments are just kind of like looking at me as if I'm the bad guy, but I'm looking at it like, girl.
So
Yeah.
at the reunion, that's whenever things shifted and stuff. After everybody started, the show was on, and then comments started like coming in. Because at the reunion, it didn't seem that you guys were in a good place. I mean, you sat on another side, and she sat on this side with Cliff and her.
No, at that time, everything had been, we weren't talking about it. Like, I was still working there, but
Mhm.
we weren't having any conversation. It was just basically just work. So when they reached out to me and told me that I was coming to reunion, that was a thing because I don't think Cliff knew that I was coming to reunion at first. I
Mm.
think it was supposed to be more of like a surprise or something, but I think he ended up finding out like maybe like a week or so before.
So you said that this happened 2 years ago, with Letitia making this phone call. When did you tell Latrice about the phone call that you say Letitia made to you?
So me and Latrice made up literally, I want to say a year after that.
A year.
Yeah. So I left Mississippi Jackson in January, like the end of January. Letitia called me at the end of February, around March, because I think that's when they were starting back filming that next season. And me and Latrice had no dealings with each other basically like the rest of that year until I think the following year when we kind of like rekindled everything. And that's when I told her.
Damien, do you believe the phone call was made?
No, I don't think. I'm just gonna be real. I don't think Letitia called. Um, and I've been listening to all this and just absorbing it. And Joshy, were you invited to the reunion?
Which one? The
The
last one?
upcoming,
The one ever?
the one that's gonna air for this season.
No.
You weren't. Okay. Yeah, no, I just don't believe it. Only because the guys know. I don't know if you know, but I did work on Love and Marriage Huntsville as a producer.
Hmm.
So I got some people in some places, and I reached out to them. I just wanted to know. Okay, I just had some questions. Um, so so you saying that Letitia allegedly called you is not an attempt to get back on the show?
Attempt for me to get back on the show?
Yeah, because I'm just gonna be real. I mean, who wouldn't want to be on it? I know that if you negotiate right, they'll pay you. I think it's a fair, valid question,
Um,
right?
the way the way that my life is set up right now, the show is like if the show is not in the cards for me to come and film at all.
But you said you would go on like a weekend if they called and asked you. You know, if the dollar
That
was
was
right,
what'd you say?
if the dollar was right and they called you and asked to come to film, hey, we need you for a Saturday filming. You wouldn't go for the weekend if they were going to pay for the hotel, pay for your ride, all that.
I
So
said that. I said that in the beginning.
okay, um, can I ask?
But for me to come back, me trying to get back on the show was never a thing.
Okay, um, so you and Latrice falling out originally, and you getting fired. I was told
Mhm.
that it was because you were stealing from her. Is that true?
No,
Let's
that is not
let.
true.
I did
Okay,
not
so
hear
that's
that.
not true.
Wow.
We're gonna clear it all up here today, right? Like I just want to know. I don't want to look crazy up here. You know, go just because
No, like,
a
look,
lot of
that's what
times
I'm here
people come up
for.
here, Josh, and we folks will kiss ass, right? So we just gonna keep it a buck. Not saying anybody is here because I know you guys don't really know, but I wanted to know, so I called. I'm like, yo, what's going on with this Josh and Letitia situation? And from everything I was told, Josh was the complete opposite of what you're saying.
Okay, I mean, it's multiple sides to a story. So I mean, I'm telling you my truth,
Okay.
and that's all I can tell you.
Okay. Can I ask you, because you said that you and Latrice are really close and you guys made up, and you wouldn't want to throw her under the bus or do anything bad. Do you reach out to bloggers and send them things?
As far as what,
Um, would you like me to show you?
Show you.
About Latrice. Hold on. But this is Millie Chun. I'll have to
okay,
send
yeah,
you
I know
this.
what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'll have to send you this, Mitch. Because this is something Millie Chun was talking about because she posted it, and what she didn't take out was where it says replying to Joshua White at the bottom. So it like she screen recorded something about Latrice and was telling this story, which I believe may be this story. Can y'all see that?
It was
I
the
know y'all don't
lawsuit.
know because this wasn't on the show.
It was the lawsuit story.
Yeah, this wasn't on the show, but Latrice was sued for $150,000 by Ada Green, who apparently worked with you, Josh. And they told me, now correct us if we're wrong. They said that you and Ada were in cahoots at one point. This girl sued Latrice for $150,000 and won. Won it, y'all.
Wait, hold
Seriously,
on, hold
won it.
on. Let me understand what's being said here. So a blogger named Millie Chun, she received information from Joshy. Is that what you're saying, Damien?
Yes, about
About
Latrice.
what was that information that she received from Joshy that you're showing us? What is this?
Some video about this Ada girl and this whole thing that Latrice was involved in. Latrice used this girl named Ada's likeness on billboards, and she
Hmm.
didn't pay the girl or get her permission. Ada took her to court. Ada took Latrice to court. She won for $150,000. Josh sent this to Millie, like, "Hey, this is what's going on. Look what Latrice is involved in." And when I was asking them, Josh, I was like, "We're just trying to get to the truth of who did Letitia call or not." They said no. Josh is literally going from side to side, from Latrice to Letitia, trying to stir up crap to get back on the show. And that's why I said, well, you know what? We'll just ask him tomorrow, and he can clear it up. We'll find out. And like, I want to believe you, Josh, but it's like even earlier you said, you didn't have time for the show when it was airing and all this other stuff. And then this here, like when the next season when she was talking about, y'all remember when Latrice made the 9 to 5 comment? Izzy don't watch as much as the rest of us, but Latrice made a 9 to 5 comment about how she don't want to work no 9 to 5. Everybody got
Yeah.
offended by
Hmm.
it. But
Hmm.
you posted about it. I don't. Were you on that season?
Was I on that season? Yeah.
He said, "Child, y'all better start paying the workers and the 9 to 5ers." So I don't know. Did
Okay,
Latrice not pay you? I don't, you know what? Let me be quiet.
so
Let's let you
hold
speak.
on. Well, hold on. So Joshy, Damien is saying that you contacted Millie Chan, a blogger, to give information about a story that was already out there.
The story was out there, but the fans didn't know. Like it aired in Jackson
Okay.
as a news story, but we didn't know. They
Hmm.
didn't air it on the show. There wasn't really public knowledge. So apparently, I don't know, Josh. Apparently, the agenda was to get this out there so everybody could see that Latrice is being sued, and she screws. Look what she does to her employees, pretty much.
Josh is trying to give Latrice bad press,
Yeah, that's what
basically,
they're pretty
right?
much trying to say.
Okay. Joshy, what is your response to what Damien is saying?
So everything that he said is true. That did happen. Hold on one second. So that did happen. So with that situation, Millie Chun, the story had got out. Millie Chun had actually done a video about the whole situation. She didn't know who Ada was. At the time, me and Ada were really, really close.
Who is Ada? Sorry. Who is
Ada basically used to have my position before I started working there.
Okay, she was an employee of Latrice and Goddess. Okay, got it. Good.
Yeah. So a little background. So when Ada got fired, basically Ada got fired based off of the same reason that you saying that I got fired.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a thing where when Latrice kind of like, I'm gonna just be honest, if she doesn't really know how to just, she don't know how to come to you straight up and just say this isn't working out, this is how this is going. I feel like we should go our separate ways. So what she did was with Ada, it became a thing where basically she made it seem like, I guess it was just a thing like Ada was stealing from her. And that same thing happened to me when she wanted to get rid of me. I already knew that she was going to get rid of me early on. With how everything was going on, I knew that I wasn't going to be working at Goddess Lynch long.
What were the events that happened to get you that thought that you weren't going to be working
Because she
there.
was acting the same way with Ada before she fired Ada, and I just kind of
Mm.
knew it was the distance. She had kind of got a lot of got real distant with me. Everything had just been changed. The communication wasn't there anymore. She would come in the salon and be like, X about hair being missing or about sales, and I'm looking at her like, girl, you got cameras everywhere up in here. You know for a fact I'm not stealing from you.
Did Latrice ever apologize to you for you saying lying about saying that you stole from her? Did she ever like acknowledge like, hey, I just said it. It wasn't true. You didn't
Um,
steal.
she never acknowledged it to me, but it was to others. So when I first got fired, it was the fact that that was when she fired me, it was about some hair was being missing. And I knew for
Mm.
a fact that I did not take any hair and I didn't give no hair away. Like that's just not how I move and how how I roll. And so when she did it, I said to myself, I said, this her way of getting me out of here. I already knew it was coming. It is what it is. And when she fired me, I bowed down, and I was just like, okay. I started hearing back rumors that she was telling people that I stole from her.
Mm.
And then
So she
that
was
became,
basically trying to ruin your reputation.
yeah.
Okay.
And so when I asked her about it, she told me that that wasn't true. She didn't tell anybody, but it was just like a lot of people that I knew that are like close to her that told me that she was. So I was really upset with her behind it because I'm like, girl, you know that I did not steal from you. Like, I can't believe you're going around telling people
Mhm.
these things about me. Like, this is not true at all. It happened with Ada. Now it's happening with me, because you're a coward. And I felt like you just couldn't face to me and just say, hey, things aren't working out. And I just feel like we should go our separate ways. But
Yeah.
instead, you want to make me out to be a thief. I didn't like that at all. So
Did
when the Millie
this?
Chun situation came out, me and Ada had always been cool. Me and Ada was cool when she got fired, and we was cool when she on after that. So when the lawsuit thing came out, I had nothing to do with it. That was
Mhm.
not my thing or none of that. I had nothing to do with it at all. So when it kind of like got put out there and it got aired and it was like on news and all of that, Millie Chun picked up the story. Millie Chun was asking who Ada was, and she didn't know who Ada was. She couldn't find her Instagram, this, that, and that. So what I did was, because I was being petty, I was being messy, because I was just kind of mad at Latrice, because I'm like, girl, you want to sit here and tell lies on me. You
Mhm.
want to spread rumors on me. So I'm going to give Millie Chun who she's asking for, which was Ada.
Mhm.
And that
Okay.
was the only thing I
Makes
did.
sense.
That was the only thing I did do, was send her Ada's profile.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
So y'all never, you and
So
Ada never corroborated. Y'all were never like working together.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Okay.
I didn't even know nothing about the lawsuit at all. Like me and Ada were cool, but we didn't sit on the phone and talk about Latrice or nothing like that. We
Okay.
didn't yeah, it wasn't nothing like that. We had our own relationship outside of that whole thing, and it was never like I never knew what she was doing on the back end as far as like suing Latrice, because that was never my I would never sue my friends.
Izzy believes the phone call was made. Damien does not believe the phone call was made. Lawton, what do you think?
My thought is that anybody that is sick, that is a family member, I've personally, I sympathize with them, because that's a lot to handle. I will say the one thing that I'm stuck on is that when Lateshia called you, you kind of gave it an option. You said, like, basically like where the money at. And Letitia called production to, basically figure out about, if we can fly you out and film. So that's the one thing that I'm kind of like stuck on, because like if you didn't want to come on and denigrate, Latrice's behavior or anything like that, or talk crap, then it's like if Letitia called you and you didn't want to take any part of it, you would have absolutely said no. That's the only thing that I get from the story.
Mhm.
So you don't believe the phone call?
I, no.
Okay.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure.
So you basically, so you guys are saying that I called Lateshia,
Well,
I
or
didn't
Damien,
you
say
think?
that.
Damien
I
and
didn't
Lawton are
say
saying
I'm
that.
saying so. It's like I mean, cause
Damien
Tish,
and Lawton are saying the phone call didn't happen.
I think we're
Izzy
split.
believes you. Izzy believes you, Josh. Izzy believes you.
What about you,
well,
Mitch?
I
What do you think? Do you believe it?
Oh yeah, that's a
in the
question
hot
right
seat. What do
there.
you think?
That's a question right
Why am
there.
I
Mitch
in
is
the
asking
hot
all the
seat? Why
questions,
am
but
I
Because
being
we're
then
asked?
supposed to not.
he doesn't
What do
want
Well,
you
to
you're
say
think,
supposed to be in
Mitch?
the hot
You
seat.
put
Come
us in the
on.
hot seat. Calm down.
So I have loved getting to know Joshy. Like me and Joshy have talked over the phone. We have
Oh, he don't
actually been
believe
getting
it.
to know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Got you. Me and Josh
Okay.
been getting to know each other. And I know you said that you have respect for Latrice's marriage, but always all I saw on the show was disrespect for the marriage. With the way you inserted yourself into the issues that they were having within their marriage, because I know that before you said earlier that you stand by what you did, your interaction that we saw on the show when it involved their marriage. Do you have any regrets at all, whether it be about what you said, maybe it be about the approach with giving your opinion on what they were had going on between the two of them?
I will take back that I wish I probably would have kind of like shut my mouth majority of the time. I think once I kind of like realized that Cliff was really against me and he was coming at me kind of hard, that's when I kind of like switched up a little bit because I was more like, this not how this was supposed to go. And another thing is he knew as well what we were doing as far as um it wasn't a storyline. It was more of he knew that I was supposed to bring up their marriage and so they can have more discussion about it. But again, it's I don't know how it got spent on me.
Well,
Because looking at it now, it looks like now that you're not involved, we see them now in a more harmonious place. Now that we don't see you involved in their like relationship, you giving your opinion, it looks like Latrice and Cliff, they're doing much better between the two of them when it comes to communication, when it comes to being on the same page.
Okay. So even
well, Mitch, can I just say something? I will say, I mean, Cliff does take some time to spend the night over at Taste because there's rooms and everything like that. So, yeah, they're in a harmonious place because there's a break. Now, I don't know if that break consumes with other people and stuff, but all I'm saying is that I have seen Cliff, on my TV screen going to Taste, going into one of the rooms, staying the night, and Latrice kind of had a problem with it. So that's all I'm saying. Proceed.
Well, with something that happened 2 years ago, why is it now being brought up as an issue and a story? Looked at the show, watched the show, and definitely felt like Joshy was coming in between Latrice's marriage. Joshy is now coming in between Latrice and Letitia's friendship. That's
okay, well
another question
can
mark
I say
that
this?
that I have.
Uh, what can I say this?
Yeah.
I brought that to Latrice, like I say, a year ago. And she brought that conversation up recently when they were filming. Like that was something because when I brought it to Latrice, I asked her, I said, "Are you and Tisha good?" And she was just like, "Well, you know how Tisha is, you really can't trust her, yada yada yada." And I was like, "Yeah." And that's when I told her what happened as far as when Tisha reached out to me and called me. And I said, "I'm glad that I didn't buy into that story." I said because I saw that you when you guys were filming that you guys were back cool. I said that would have looked crazy for me to come on the show to be on Tisha's side and do the things she wanted me to do towards you, and then you guys become back friends. I said that was gonna look crazy on my end.
I think that Latrice likes to spread mess and then hide her hands, okay? Because I think she used Joshy as a scapegoat, if I'm being completely honest. And if you want to, ask examples of how Latrice, spreads things out and hides her hands, I mean, the whole thing with Selena Soguchi fighting at her opening. Okay, like that was planned. Okay, like that was the mindset of like I'm gonna get these two together in one room and try to see if there's any sparks of flying, and they did, you know. So I just think that Latrice, she saying that Joshy, I don't, necessarily believe in him. I think he spreads lies and everything like that. It's the pot calling the kettle black, in my opinion.
But how is it the pot? What is
The
it? The
pot
what is
calling
it?
the kettle black.
What is it? Well, how
The
is it the
pot.
pot and the kettle and the black when you're saying that the call was never made? That you're because you said earlier that Lateshia did not make that phone call to Joshy. How is it that Latrice is stirring this pot?
Latrice was Joshy's worker, okay, at the salon. All right. And I think that the call wasn't made, but I think that Latrice used Joshy as a scapegoat to reveal the truth about how she felt about her marriage and only put him in the fire about it, if I'm being completely honest.
That's
So
exactly
we're
how
talking
it is.
about two questions. We're talking about
Two different
two
scenarios.
scenarios.
Okay.
Oh, I'm referencing to both
Okay.
the call and then him filming.
Okay.
I'm referencing both. So Latrice, she's not a winged angel, in my opinion.
My source told me that Marie Monroe told them that because you mentioned that Letitia said you and Marie would get along great, but the source says that Marie Monroe, you were asking her to go work for her. Is that true, or was it the other way around?
That's a whole lie. I've never had. I'm sorry. That's a whole lie. Latrice actually called me and told me about that. They had a scene or whatever, and Marie put out there that I guess her and Tisha teamed up, and I guess she put it out there that I called her asking her for a job. And mind you, I have never in my life had a conversation with Marie outside of. We never even really had a conversation during filming. We just know each other through filming. Like a respect level as far as just speaking, and probably if I see her in passing, but I wouldn't even feel comfortable calling that lady and asking her for a job. That's crazy to me. Like I've never been that desperate for a job. Like I've never needed a job like that to where I would have to call one of them from the show um to need a job. Like that's just something I just wouldn't do. Like I don't even know what Marie do for me to even know to come work for her, to be honest. That's crazy. That's a whole entire lie.
Because I've kind of had this in my head before. You've kind of insinuated before to this person, well, not this person, but someone told the source that you had insinuated that Cliff might be a little bit like us. Now,
What's
that's on you.
us? What's us,
Us,
Damien? Because I'm straight.
us five, us five, us five as bros talking. Us five as bros just talking shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's gonna be up to Mitch. I don't run the show,
Kitchen
so if it
table
gets
talk.
aired, we're blaming this one, and it might not be true
Yeah, Joshy could confirm or deny.
Oh, you want me to answer?
Oh,
if you
yeah.
can.
Well, I personally don't think he is. That has never been a thing that
Mm.
I have had to question.
Oh.
Um, Latrice actually brought that to me that somebody
What?
that somebody said
Oh,
um
okay.
that I
Oh,
I was about to
supposedly
say.
did. And I'm gonna just say this. I have always respected their relationship. Like I
Uh-huh.
said, no matter how toxic it is, whatever is going on, I always have looked at Cliff as like an uncle to me. He's always
Mhm.
been there. He's been very supportive. Um, things I've needed help with, he's helped with me. He's helped me with it. It's been times where I call Latrice. She was like, "Oh, call my husband." So to have that thought about him has never came across my mind. I've always looked at him as like a uncle, a father figure to me in a way. So That is crazy for somebody to even but I think where they get that from is the comments. I don't think nobody have heard that come out of my mouth or saying that I said that. I definitely have seen it in comments as far as like people are saying that it looks like I want him and stuff like that. So I think they're going with that narrative from what people have seen in the comments, from how me and Cliff have interacted with each other during filming. But yeah, that has never been a thing at all.
Just to add on to my point, because I'm the only one that believes Josh, or just, just this whole situation of whether the conversation happened or not. The way some of us, when we get into disagreements with each other on this show, on Bro Chat, and the way, the ladies on the shows that we watch, what better way to get back at your friends or the cast members other than having dirt on them? So that's why I believe that, Lateshia may have had that conversation with Josh. I'm sure she was just, gathering, and she's probably putting together a binder
She
the way Monique
was.
Samuels does it. So, that's part of why I believe that, a conversation happened. So,
Okay, fair enough.
Listen, everyone looking in, let us know down below in the comment section, what do you think? Do you believe the phone call happened or you don't? We'll see you again next time on Bro Chat. See
Hey,
ya.
y'all.
Bye.
See ya.
I
How the hell are you not going to show up for your best friend? When you were sitting there calling Heavenly a busted can of biscuits, did she not sit there calling
She
Heavenly
did.
a
She
busted
did.
can of biscuits? So don't come at me now when I'm having problem with homegirl and now you can't have my back.
Eric, this is not Dr. Jackie's conflict to resolve. This is none of her business, not her conflict. And
So
Dr.
then
Jackie
shut up.
Dr. Jackie, I won't.